Hey YouTubers, my name is Jordan Harris and welcome back to ReviewTube, and thank you for supporting my channel, and please give me that thumbs up and go subscribe to my channel and go on the notification bar if you do not want to miss a video I post. I appreciate you guys a lot, and I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy at home everywhere you are. Please keep each other safe, and I hope you guys enjoy this video because today I'm going to review Solo, a Star Wars story. And to be honest, I liked it. And you know why? Because I like Han Solo. I mean, most Star Wars fans may like Luke Skywalker or R2D2, C3PO. They're good characters, but most people would totally go for the one and only Han Solo. And Han Solo is an anti-hero. Many people would speculate he's a true hero, but actually for his attitude and his actual persona, he is an anti-hero. He's a bounty hunter. What do you expect? Most bounty hunters are pretty much anti-heroes in a way. And, well, there's a term called a hero for hire. Mostly like for Luke Cage in the Marvel Comics, but for this guy, he is a hero for hire in the Star Wars universe. And most of all, his personality is pretty much just like any person that you may have seen in many other movies and TV shows. You would see him cocky, you would see him egotistical, you would see him pretty much a hotshot that all the women will fall in love with. That's mostly Han Solo, and sometimes he could get in a lot of trouble sometimes, but he always breaks out of the trouble. So that's one thing many people like for him for, and that's what mostly the women like him for his charming good looks and his amazing personality, because he is the bad boy type. So that's one thing about Han Solo. And in this movie, they go back in time where they mostly focus on Han Solo's life of bounty hunting and trying to earn a lot of credits, which in the Star Wars universe, which is, you know, money. And he teams up with many remarkable characters such as Chewbacca. And how he met Chewbacca was he was in a prison where he was supposed to be fighting in a galactic war, but he refused about something that was supposed to be about fighting in the galactic war. And that's how he goes into some dungeon where he finds a Wookiee creature, and that was Chewbacca. And actually the Wookiee didn't really have a name, so Han Solo named him Chewbacca, but for short he calls him Chewie. And that was pretty interesting throughout that movie. And we also see another remarkable character in that movie, and that is Lando Calrissian. And Donald Glover plays the role of Lando. And first time we see him, he's at this casino type bar where we see Han Solo and him are gambling. And I would have to say this is like the galactic Las Vegas area, because you're gambling, you're having a lot of drinks and all that stuff. That's what's one thing that's mostly recognizable throughout Star Wars, having a bar and also a casino, which is common in many Wild Wild West movies, or movies in the Wild Wild West, or some mostly in 007 movies, where you see Sean Connery's character as James Bond is in a casino and trying to interrogate someone, and also having a lot of drinks. That's one thing, mostly secret agent movies and all those Western movies you see. But for Star Wars, pretty interesting, because it's like a Western space theme in this movie. And same with the TV show The Mandalorian, that's what it takes place in. Kind of like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly in a way. But for Han Solo, for the Solo movie in a way, it's pretty well done in how they do it in their imagination. And when he first, and back to Lando Calrissian, Lando, they were just gambling for one important thing throughout the Star Wars universe, and that is the Millennium Falcon that Han Solo has throughout the whole film series. And this is how he gets the Millennium Falcon. And this is a pretty funny thing that happened. First time you see the gambling scene, you see Lando cheating because he has a special card that he uses to cheat his way to win the game. But in the second round, when the movie was almost over, we see Han Solo hugging Lando, and we didn't even see it. But what happened was Lando tried to pull his lucky cheating card out to win, but guess who got it? Han Solo. Like I said, for hugging Lando and getting the card, that was misdirection right there. And he won that Millennium Falcon, and that's how him and Chewbacca became best friends, and they lived happily ever after in a galaxy far, far away. And that was pretty interesting about that movie, having that special origin story involved about some famous character, like Godfather Part 2. Robert De Niro played a younger version of Vito Corleone, and what happened was, when he was younger, his family were killed by Sicilian terrorists, and he escaped from Sicily, and his original name was Vito Andolini, named after his father, and Antonio Andolini. And when he escaped from Sicily and sailed on a boat to New York with a bunch of other Sicilian immigrants, he changed his name from Vito Andolini to Vito Corleone, where he becomes a teenager around 19 or somewhere, and he marries a Sicilian woman, and he works at a grocery shop, and then got out of the grocery shop and started his own business where he had to kill an original Godfather of New York, and then he becomes the new Godfather of New York and moves to Sicily, and then kills the guy who killed his family when he was younger. And that was cool, and that was revenge right there, and showed a lot of bravery. And that's one thing about movie origins. You have the first movie that's during present time, but then in the second movie you have an origin story, which is just like in the Godfather series. The first Godfather, you introduce Marlon Brando's character as Vito Corleone, and having his sons with Michael Corleone and Sonny and all the other children. And then you have number 2, where you mostly show how Michael, played by Al Pacino, he is living his life as the new Godfather of New York. But for his father, Vito, during like the early 1900s, you have him as a weak young man, but then he becomes an outgoing person to fight different crimes that are against him, and that shows a lot of strength in him. And just like the Solo movie, this shows how Solo gains his proper instinct of being a bounty hunter and acting like Robin Hood and all that stuff. I mean, he may do a lot of bad things, but sometimes he could do a lot of good things involved in the Star Wars universe. So that's one thing we know about Han Solo. He could change from being someone who is a jerk to a good person. So that's why Han Solo, I would have to say, is one of my number 1 favorite Star Wars characters. And comment down below about how you feel about Han Solo. Do you think he's one of your favorite Star Wars characters? Because I would have to say, yes, he's one of my favorite characters. Comment down below with your thoughts about Han Solo. And please, this video is sponsored by Disney Plus if you have not seen the movie Solo, because this movie is amazing. And I'm sorry for spoiling about the Millennium Falcon and all that stuff, but seriously, there are other stuff in the movie that are not much important as well. Han Solo getting the Millennium Falcon and seeing Chewbacca and Lando Calrissian, that's one thing. But most of all, go watch that movie on Disney Plus if you are interested in Star Wars as much as I am. And thank you very much for watching my video. And the last video I'm going to do about Star Wars is Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, which is the final Star Wars movie, like I said. And that movie wasn't pretty much as good as any other Star Wars film. But anyway, thank you for joining me, and I will see you later. And thank you for watching this Solo video.